Hello everyone, and welcome to my Bold and Beautiful Today channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. After Remy and will have a run-in, Ridge promises to stop Hope at all costs. This has been awful, she tells Ridge at Brooke's house. Even though Carter wounded him and took his business, that doesn't give her the right to punish her daughter. Ridge claims that without Hope, none of this would have occurred. After years of being a fantastic employee, Carter fell in love with Hope. Your daughter is the reason he betrayed us. You must observe that. Hope smiles across the room at Carter as she pulls out the CEO chair at Forrester Creations, and he approaches and sits down. He shakes his head and smiles. Hope, I mean it. Without you, I couldn't have completed this. You're correct, we're making positive changes. He gives her hand a kiss. At that moment, Zende enters. He asks if it's okay for him to go in. Of course, Carter replies. Zende noticed that Hope was present after being barred from the premises, Pam was being overly affectionate, and Justin Barber was present. Hope informs him that he is now observing the new Forrester Creations CEO. What are you talking about? Asks Zende. Carter claims that he is now in charge. Zende laughs and says, yeah. He understands that Carter is regarded like family, but a Forrester must be in command. Steffi and Ridge had no intention of resigning. Carter claims that although the documents are signed and the deal is final, they weren't. I am now in charge of Forrester. Will questions Remy about his purpose in the salon. Electra announces that he is bringing a pizza. When did she have time to buy a pizza? Will asks. She claims not to have. Remy continues, my treat. Electra exclaims that it was delicious. Will hopes he didn't spend his entire lunch hour, but he thinks it's cool. He thinks it's odd that Remy ended himself in LA, right next door to Electra. It's a small world, Remy remarks, adding that Deacon's daughter is Will's cousin, Hope Logan. Is it true that your mothers are sisters? Yeah, that's usually how having a cousin works, Will nods. Crew Remy B&B will be Electra. Ridge laments that her daughter enters people's thoughts in Brooke's living room. Because of her, Thomas will spend the rest of his life in therapy, and Carter is now following in her footsteps. What are you talking about? Asks Brooke, incredulously. According to Ridge, she can convince men to follow her around and do anything she wants. According to Brooke, they fell in love. It's more shocking that he can stand there and call Hope a bitch, even though she knows he's in shock. I won't put up with you speaking negatively about my kid. Will informs Remy that they should probably return to their work in the salon. Remy inquires as to whether seeing Electra would be problematic because they have been friends for a long time. Will simply meant that this is a business location. There's no need to stay. He is certain Il Giardino has a lot of orders, so he says, I think it might be best if you get moving. Don't keep Em waiting, right? Crew Remy B&B will be Electra. After being informed of what transpired in the main office, Zende yells, you stole Forrester? Hope maintains that they didn't intend for things to get this bad. She claims that Steffi cut her line and dismissed her. That was their call, according to Zende. That's not how you manage a business, Carter adds. For the sake of the family legacy, he had to take this action. He has to restore Hope's line as his first priority. Hope would really like Zende to continue serving as her primary designer. She claims at Brooke's house that Hope erred in endorsing Carter's treachery, but she is not and never was what he described her. Although he doesn't trust her, Ridge spoke angrily. He observes her actions. She wants her line and her job returned. Brooke claims that Steffi's accusation that she had cheated on Finn was the only reason she lost them. If nothing else, he ought to acknowledge that Steffi was wrong to fire her. Ridge claims that Hope should not have been fired for her second incident of allegedly coming on to Finn, but what did she do now? Participating in this takeover? Irreparable. Remy assures Will that he is only meeting up with an old friend in the salon and is not attempting to linger. He has time for that outside of work, Electra informs him. She can't quit her job because she has an opportunity there. Elektra loves her new life and doesn't want to ruin it, but Remy frowns and says, "All right." She reminds him of her purpose. "You're saying I can't come and see you?" asks Remy. He understands. He's merely a pizza delivery guy, and she now works at a major fashion firm. He leaves, stopping to give them a snarling glance. Zende informs Hope and Carter in the main office that Forrester is also his family business. Carter claims that even though he is currently operating it, it still is. This is a lot to process, according to Zende. There's more, according to Hope. They both stare into each other's eyes and grin, saying, "Carter and we're together." Ridge asks Brooke to sit down at her house. This was a huge betrayal, but he doesn't want to argue with her. Brooke knows. When she learned their plan, she immediately went to him for that reason. She doesn't want to jump to their demonization, though. This was their final attempt to keep Hope's line intact. Carter claimed it was his idea, and she reminds him of that. Ridge asks if she doesn't believe Hope hinted that his idea for a premium brand was the best one ever. "Did they even consider my idea?" wonders Brooke. Carter would have eventually realized that Ridge says no, but not while Hope was whispering in his ear to steal their company. Will remarks to Elektra in the salon that Remy's pizza delivery seems a bit odd. "It's not if you know him," she says. She desires for him to know him. Will believes there is something odd about that individual. "I don't know if I trust him." Remy fumes as he examines a picture of Elektra in a nightgown on his laptop. "LA is not healthy for you." Zende asks in the main office, "You and Carter?" "When did it start?" Hope clarifies that she was wearing lingerie for Carter when Steffi believed she was attempting to woo Finn. "Why didn't you tell her?" Zende queries. "They were trying to hide it." According to Zende, they have been covertly involved and are now assuming control of the business. Carter hopes he's not implying that Hope is taking advantage of him. He saw the corporation heading in a direction that could ruin it, so he had no choice but to intervene. He's hoping Zende will be there for him. Ridge must be angry, Zende remarks. Hope claims that he is, and he is blaming her for everything. She laments at Brooke's house that her diligent daughter has dedicated her life to the business. She was disrespectful the entire time. Ridge disputes the veracity of that. According to Brooke, Steffi treated her disrespectfully. It makes sense why Carter and Hope sought to take over the business, to permanently quiet your daughter. Ridge inquires as to if she intends to make this seem like Steffi's fault. Hope was after Finn, but first she pursued my son, driving him insane to the point that he had to flee the country. In order to get Carter, my best buddy, to steal a business for her, she is now pursuing him. And you're saying that it's not surprising? Are you serious? They made no effort to defend the events that transpired. You keep saying I shouldn't attack your daughter, yells Ridge. I'm sick of her constantly disparaging me, my family, and my business. Brooke gives a scowl. I will do whatever it takes to stop Hope, Ridge says. Once and for all. Brooke appears scandalized and indignant. On The Bold and the Beautiful, the Logans and Forrester engage in a titanic struggle for control when Hope and Carter take over at Forrester Creations. I hope Logan permanently destroys Bridge. According to spoilers for the CBS soap opera The Bold and the Beautiful, an era is coming to an end. For many years, Brooke Logan and Ridge Forrester have been a mainstay of the daytime soap. They won't pass the Hope Logan and Carter Walton test, but our beloved Bridge has endured the test of time. Here are the next events on B&B. Be prepared for spoilers. Spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful. I hope Logan permanently destroys Bridge. The major takeover by Hope and Carter seems to have gone well. Justin Barber claims that Carter filed the LLC papers and that the Forrester family is unable to stop it. Now that Carter Walton is in charge of Forrester Creations, chaos is on the horizon. The act had already been carried out when Brooke Logan hurried to alert her man Ridge Forrester. Steffi and Ridge refused to compromise, and Carter gave the Forresters a chance to patch things up before he made it official. The choice was theirs or theirs alone. Ridge is now on the warpath and enraged. Spoilers for B&B. I hope Logan does the unimaginable. Will Ridge's perception of Brooke Logan change at all? If someone's child took your family's time, could you still cuddle with them at night? Although Ridge and Brooke had previously clashed and split up due to their daughter's arguments, this time is different. Hope urged her lover to steal $1 billion firm from the Forresters and their family history, rather than merely kissing her husband or pushing Steffi down a flight of stairs. Brooke Logan is essentially powerless to defend Hope's behavior and Carter's control. Ridge would even accuse Brooke of concealing the affair and failing to provide her daughter with the assistance that she so clearly required. Do you believe Ridge is incorrect to hold Brooke responsible? Does her adult daughter's behavior fall under her purview? If you believe Ridge is permanently over, please let us know via the comments section below. As Remy pulls another deepfake, Ridge vows to put an end to Hope after Zende expresses disbelief at Carter's revelation and job offer. Will tries to persuade Remy to back off. Zende learns that Carter and Hope are dating, and Ridge and Brooke quarrel about Hope's guilt on today's episode of Bold and the Beautiful. Recap of Wednesday's B&B. Carter restored HFTF and Hope, while Brooke chastised Ridge for assaulting her daughter. Brooke informs Ridge at Eric's that although she is aware of his pain, it is not a justification for attacking her daughter. He maintains that he is merely reporting the facts. Because of her daughter, Carter betrayed them. He is certain that Hope entered his head, and like Thomas and Liam, he will spend the rest of his life in treatment. Hope is just in love, but Brooke is aware that they are in shock. She will not put up with him referring to her kid as a bitch. What he called her was never her sweet daughter. Although he acknowledges that his words were angry, he doesn't trust her. They quarrel over Hope's lineage loss. She informs him that he is flawed and ought not to have taken Steffi's side. He will acknowledge that Steffi was mistaken, but it is intolerable for Hope to support Carter in this takeover. He takes her hands as they sit down. Even though he doesn't want to fight, this was a huge betrayal. They were hurt, but she understands that. He believes that Hope was at least partly responsible for this. Carter had good reason to be offended, she says. Ridge is certain that Hope was pressuring him to steal the business. She takes a back seat and tells him how hard her daughter has worked for the company and how Steffi has consistently treated her disrespectfully. He reminds her that after she forced Thomas to leave the country, Hope pursued Finn. Neither she nor Carter underwent any hardships to support this. He is making every effort to permanently put an end to Hope. Hope pulls out the chair at the large desk and gives Carter a gentle pat in the Forrester office. He groans, sits down gently, and sighs. He informs Hope that without her, he couldn't have accomplished this. Together, they are making positive changes. Zende enters and claims that Pam is being overly affectionate and that he has been hearing things. Hope claims that dramatic events have occurred and that he is currently staring at Forrester's head. Carter smiles. Zende appears confused. This needs to be explained several times. According to Zende, a Forrester should be in command. Carter claims that everything is finalized and that he is now in charge. Forrester was stolen by you, Zende exclaims. Hope informs him that although Steffi dismissed her, they didn't want it to get to this point. According to Carter, Steffi and Ridge continue to make poor decisions. For the sake of the family legacy, he had to step in. He has HFTF reinstated already. Hope requests that Zende continue to serve as her principal designer. Although he is also a Forrester, he concurs that the line shouldn't have been crossed. It's a lot to process. Hope goes on to say that she is currently seeing Carter. They embrace him and tell him about the lingerie and the misunderstanding with Finn. Zende understands that they are now taking control after being covertly involved. Carter maintains that he wasn't tricked. He had to save the company after realizing it was on the verge of collapse. Although he is aware of Zende's challenging situation, he hopes to cooperate with them. Zende is certain that Ridge is enraged. Hope claims that all the guilt is on her. She tells about how having a face from home is amazing. Will finds it odd that he ended up working for Hope's father only down the street. He advises them everyone to return to their jobs. They are unable to simply hang out. Remy inquires as to whether seeing Elektra is a problem for him. Will isn't implying anything, she claims. Elektra Remy with the intention of implying B&B. Will advises him to leave since there's no reason to stay and eat pizza. I'm just catching up with an old friend, says Remy. They can do it outside of work, she argues. She enjoys working there and doesn't want to ruin it by appearing unprofessional. He assumes she is telling him that he is not welcome to visit her. He mopes and adds, I'm just the pizza delivery guy. Will nods and smiles. He informs her that he doesn't trust Remy and that something about him seems strange. Remy murmurs that LA is bad for Elektra as he heads to his room. Using his deepfake generator, he begins. Fans of The Bold and the Beautiful are giddy with anticipation as Remy changes up his plan involving Elektra, adding another twist to the show's unpredictable dynamics. Remy is renowned for his shrewd and inventive handling of high-stakes scenarios, thus his change in direction could mean a significant upheaval in the plots, with repercussions felt throughout the entire series. Remy, who frequently acts with deliberate accuracy, seems to have changed his mind about his initial intentions for Elektra. His decision to alter his route raises concerns about his ultimate goal, regardless of whether it was motivated by a surprise betrayal, a change in the balance of power, or personal revelations. Remy may have had to change his strategy because Elektra, a strange and powerful entity, outwitted him in unexpected ways. Is she the key to something greater, or may she exert pressure on him? Those who once supported him may become hostile toward him because of his new course. Remy might have to navigate dangerous waters alone if his close circle feels deceived or underappreciated. His objectives as well as his position within the intricate network of relationships that characterize The Bold and the Beautiful may be in danger if this turnabout fails. It is impossible to undervalue Elektra's contribution to this transformation. Is she a pawn in a bigger game, a collaborator, or a threat? How this plot develops will largely depend on what she does next. Could Remy's change in attitude be an effort to gain Elektra's affection for himself, revealing a more compassionate side to his usually vicious character? A strategic alliance between Remy and Elektra might surprise everyone and change alliances in general. A series of events that destabilize the bigger narrative could be triggered if either party betrays the other. It's possible that Remy's reorientation is a component of a bigger, hidden scheme that will make him a key figure in future affairs. The Bold and the Beautiful is given new intrigue by Remy's alteration of plans for Elektra. This plot thread promises to be a game-changer because it has huge stakes and lots of potential for surprising turns. Viewers will be riveted to their screens to see how Remy's new plan plays out and whether Elektra ends up being his greatest ally or his downfall. #### The reason Deacon on The Bold and the Beautiful could serve Ridge a knuckle sandwich. Tensions between Deacon Sharp and Ridge Forrester may be approaching a breaking point as the drama on The Bold and the Beautiful continues to escalate. It's understandable that Deacon could ultimately choose to let his fists do the talking given the unsolved rivalries, familial conflicts, and volatile personalities. Let's investigate the causes of this potentially explosive conflict. ###1. Ridge's disdain for the Deacon. Ridge has always denigrated Deacon, believing that he is not deserving of being in Brooke's life or anybody else's sphere of influence. If Ridge keeps treating Deacon like an outsider who is attempting to cross his borders, this persistent contempt may finally drive him over the line. The reason it is important. Although Deacon has put a lot of effort into improving his reputation, Ridge's insistence that he is nothing more than a liability may cause a significant backlash. ###2. Brooke at the heart of everything. Brooke Logan holds a special place in both men's hearts. Ridge may regard himself as her guardian, but Deacon's affection for her is just as strong. Deacon might feel forced to defend himself, and Brooke, if Ridge offends him or brings up Deacon's past in a way that calls into question his atonement. Key trigger ***. Ridge may go too far in accusing Deacon of having hidden agendas, which could lead to conflict. ###3. I hope Logan is happy. Another significant cause of tension is Hope. Although Deacon has always wished to be a good father to Hope, he may easily become agitated by Ridge's influence on her or his meddling in her affairs. Deacon may decide it's time to discipline Ridge if he exhibits the domineering behavior he frequently exhibits toward his family, including Hope. The reason it's important. Deacon has worked hard to regain his role as a father, and Ridge's interference may come off as an assault on that role. #####4. Deacon's inner chaos. Even though Deacon has made an effort to change, he frequently makes snap decisions while his emotions are running high. Ridge can irritate Deacon and stoke his rage with patronizing comments or an intrusion into his private life. The probability asterisk. If Ridge sets the wrong tone, a verbal argument might quickly turn into a fight. ####5. Ridge's overbearing personality. Ridge's propensity to control every circumstance may ultimately conflict with Deacon's newly discovered self-assurance. Ridge's obsession on being correct all the time might drive Deacon crazy, whether it's in a disagreement about Brooke, Hope, or even business. Deacon's point of view asterisk. Ridge's arrogance may be the final straw for him, who is sick of being ignored and undervalued. ####6. Ridge's precarious situation. At the moment, Ridge's personal and professional lives aren't quite stable. Ridge is more fragile than he may seem because of his problems at Forrester Creations and the strife in his relationships. Deacon might take advantage of this weakness and attack when Ridge is least ready to protect himself. What it signifies asterisk. In addition to defending himself, Deacon might view this as a chance to level the playing field. ####. What might take place next? The conflict asterisk. Perhaps during a family get-together or a fortuitous meeting at Il Giardino, a furious dispute could break out. When Deacon eventually lashes out, words would soon become deeds. The fallout asterisk. The consequences of such a conflict would be enormous. Probably stuck in the midst, Brooke would have to decide between supporting Deacon and protecting Ridge. As Hope's father and Ridge square off, Hope would also experience emotional distress. Reaction of Ridge asterisk. Ridge doesn't give up easily. A physical altercation could intensify their rivalry and result in future confrontations that are much more intense. ####. Conclusion. Serving Ridge a knuckle sandwich by Deacon would represent the conflict between two strong personalities with long-standing animosities, not just repressed resentment. The tension between these two guys guarantees that their next encounter will be nothing short of explosive, whether it occurs or not. To watch if Deacon finally takes a stand, fans will surely remain riveted to their TVs.